Good afternoon, my name is Jaaksoo, and I'm going to tell you about improving digital accessibility in terms of banking and for older adults. Those adults who still visit bank branches to get their things done. So we live in a world of rapid change, and it is making keeping up quite difficult for people, especially for the more vulnerable ones, like seniors. Going digital has led banks to actually close their branches, putting those digitally excluded at even bigger risk. One thing is certain, populations are aging. So addressing the risk of exclusion in later life is a very significant topic to deal with. Everything started from a brief from SEB Bank, my partner for this thesis. They wanted to know what are the needs and motivations for those seniors who visit bank branches to actually build on it later, maybe. And the initial research question based on that was, how can banks in Estonia improve their experiences for those senior citizens? So the focus is on those senior citizens who still visit the branches. I have a background in economics. Therefore, I found it very interesting to actually partner up with a bank as an institution, learn more about them. And also maybe aim for that real life impact. I'm also living through that rapid change I just mentioned. And I'm also assisting some of my elderly relatives, and I realize how important this topic actually is. To keep up, to be engaged, to use everything that the society offers to us. So briefly about my process. It all started with research. I dug in to learn more about the elderly and banking. Then I went straight to the source and visited 5 bank branches in Estonia. If you're interested, I can tell you more about it later. So a topic, an approach called contextual inquiry actually involves interviewing and observing the ones under investigation to gain that deeper understanding. I also talked to bank experts, bank advisors, and some educational experts, more on that later. And to go over this process really quickly, it was about analyzing the findings, defining the challenge, setting the focus, designing, and then drawing it all together and drawing a line somewhere. I wouldn't say the project is over, but at least it's time to reflect and see what has been done so far. As you can see, I've drawn inspiration from design thinking frameworks, such as IDEOs or design councils. And I'm not going to tell you about analysis or the process anymore, so if you'd like to know more, please ask later. My approach was human-centered because of seniors and understanding them. But also, I had a business partner whose interest also had to be considered. So I was aiming for that sweet spot here. Another approach that sent me along this project was inclusive design. So as we know and as we have learned, designing for the average actually excludes many. But on the other hand, why not learn from that diversity and those who are the extremes and build on that? Because one of the main principles of inclusive design is that we can learn from those in need and build broader impact on it. So, interaction. Good news or bad news? What would you like to hear first?
Bad news.
Bad news.
Bad news.
So it's good news. The population is getting older, and it's a remarkable achievement in human history, we would say. The expected outcome, we have all wanted that, to live longer, live happily ever after. And the bad news is the population is getting older, and we are not ready for it. And actually, aging is a major mega trend. the populations everywhere are getting older. There will be less of us, and the share of elderly population is on the rise. What's the main conclusion here? People are expected to take more care, to take actually greater responsibility of their own well-being. And that is very important to keep in mind. Banks push digital. That leads to branch closures. Actually, during my research, 2 branches were closed by SEB, so it's an ongoing process. However, branches have the highest trust rating, and to determine the scope somehow, we can say that the share of non-digital customers who visit those branches is more or less 10% or below it. What is a major finding for myself is that despite all the digital hype around us, actually 37% of the population here in Estonia lack basic digital skills. And nearly half of all the seniors do not use online banking directly. So there's a gap. In bank statistics, we can see that the numbers are not that big, but actually the other statistics that comes from demographics databases says that it's a big problem. So here is an example customer journey. This is a senior who visits branches. They are very conscientious. They want to get their things done immediately. For example, the senior receives a bill, plans a bank visit, and then waits and travels. And since branches are closed, they have to visit further away. What I want to show here is that actually the process of paying a bill or getting a transfer done can take up to 3 or 4 days in Estonia, depending on the location. So it's not convenient, and it takes a lot of effort from the seniors. But they have that need for assurance. That's why they go through all this. So why should seniors go digital? Why not? Why should anyone go digital? We all use it, don't we? So it is normal to expect seniors to do that too. But it turns out from my findings that online banking supports seniors' core values. It's about being independent, capable, treated as equals, keeping up, being valued, and also that assurance I mentioned. Besides the direct benefits, there are indirect benefits. It is proven by research that maintaining the autonomy, that agency, actually improves well-being and quality of life. And when talking to those who have adopted online banking, we can see that they're very satisfied with the transfer. They don't want to go back to the old habit. And it is important to start using it, they say, to build that confidence. So, among all the reasons that affect adopting online banking among seniors, many are drawn down to social influence. Those around seniors influence this target group a lot. And the most harm is done on the extremes. So, lack of support. There are many people around seniors who actually hinder their independence by undervaluing the need for that digital inclusion. Also, there are many stereotypes still around us. Inappropriate training that is not taking into account the situation around. And that all leads to that reinforced inclusion, that intrinsic lack of motivation and actually lack of trust. So on the other hand, we have excessive support. Again, it derives from the same stereotypes. Seniors, they don't know how to do things. They're incapable. So let's do it for them. It's quicker that way, we can get things done and move on. Well, it's even worse, actually. So that feeling of inadequacy builds within people, and they develop this learned dependence. They just, in Estonia, we have the expression learned helplessness. It's not the same, but you get the point. People are adjusting the new situation and give up trying. What I learned was that actually bank advisors also reinforce that kind of behavior. Now press the blue button. dictating the steps. Now do this. Well, what would be better? To actually balance the support. Not too much, not too little. Be there when it's needed. And that is what I wanted to achieve. Based on this capability and reliance matrix, I developed 4 archetypes. And of course, there are seniors who need help. There are seniors who don't, who can manage on their own. I found out that concentrating on this one, dependent by habit, would actually give more impact by intervening with design. These are people who are actually capable of doing tasks, completing tasks, but they are too reliant on others. Oh, what do I know? My wife takes care of all the bills I have, says one of them. And it's a real situation. The guy admits not knowing how to bank online. Technical stuff is complicated. And then half an hour later, he comes back to me with a white envelope. So I open it up. And there are self-designed postcards. Turns out the guy is very digitally capable, designing using software, photo printers, specialized equipment for taking pictures, and so on and so on and so on. And it's not a single example. We have an accordion-playing YouTuber. We have a videographer who captures choir singing and folk dance group activities, so on. So my design focus got reframed. How might we support seniors in transitioning to independent digital banking through bank branches? So now I can tell you what this project is all about. For seniors, it's about empowerment, building confidence. So actually this handling tasks, making decisions, carrying that responsibility can happen without constant help. It's about dignity, it's about quality of life, and that independence. For banks, it's about supporting the business goals through cost efficiency. Also, it's about increasing online banking accessibility. That is about appreciating the customers. And we can leverage what they already have. More on that later. We had co-ideation sessions, and the strongest ideas that emerged were training bank advisors to guide seniors and peer mentorship. As you can already see, we are not building something for the target for the target group. So this is the indirect targeting. As I learned, and I mentioned that there are many people around those seniors who influence their decisions and how they behave. So by targeting them instead, we can create impact sphere of a kind. And with proper guidance from these stakeholders around them, we can help seniors manage tasks on their own and maybe achieve that long-term impact. And it's also about raising awareness. It's not about stereotypes, it's about raising awareness that what is possible actually. Next, I researched how to support those mentors and tutors and advisors. I found out and contacted Tiina Tambaum, who is a leading educational researcher in Estonia, and she has developed a methodology for helping that digital transfer to happen. The main idea is here that we're not here to dictate this step by step what to do. We have to encourage that autonomy. And this really well hooked on the previous findings I had. So another thing I have to mention is that personalization is really, really important when dealing with seniors. Actually, a group of seniors is more diverse than a group of 18-year-olds. They're very different in their capabilities, experiences, lived experiences, and that's the way to go. So I'm building my knowledge base to actually get somewhere. So I had this methodology. Now I needed to find out the way how to package it, how to deliver this knowledge. And I found out that AI has reached that kind of a level that we can use its capabilities to actually achieve very promising results. AI learning tools have shown to be very efficient, flexible, scalable, what is really important when we talk about viability. And they can be implemented for very successful learning experiences. So we have the methodology, we have insights from research. Based on that, this is my first part of the design proposal, I compiled a learning material for tutors. Picked out the techniques that are more relevant in banking context, and added some online banking related examples to all this. But this is still a traditional method for educating. Using the latest AI technology, actually models and systems that weren't even published when I started with the project. I combined it with the material I had to build a learning tool for tutors. To complement it, with the aim to induce motivation and actually accelerate the transition to online banking, I propose a peer mentoring program. Now, Yuta, this is the name for this tool. It's a self-learning tool for tutors who provide that one-on-one guidance on using online banking. Very shortly about how it works. So, the tutor can rehearse communicating with AI and get summarized feedback on it. It takes into account the personalized approach and actually have a real-time conversation. The more interesting mode of this application is this approach where the tool actually listens to a real-time learning session, gives live feedback, and summarizes it in the end. So let's see how it works.
Yuta is a web-based self-learning tool designed for tutors, such as bank staff, mentors, friends or family, who provide one-on-one guidance on using online banking. Following educational theory, the tutor interacts with Yuta on one side and the learner on the other. Meanwhile, the learner navigates online banking independently, without tutor interference, to build autonomy. In practice mode, users can rehearse tutoring independently through a role-play scenario in which the learner is played by AI. Feedback at the end is based on effective and validated tutoring methods. In tutoring mode, Yuta listens to a real-time conversation between a tutor and a learner, providing the tutor with instant feedback and a final summary once the session ends.
So as you can see from the replies from the tool, AI encourages independent use of such interfaces like online banking.
The peer mentoring program is an initiative where seniors who are already experienced with online banking mentor other elderly customers, helping to accelerate adoption and boost motivation.
So this peer mentoring program idea was validated with seniors in Tartu Day Center, and it turned out seniors can actually support each other very well, and that was a great discovery for myself. So I gained more confidence in actually proposing this program. What is really important is the motivations this program and implementing it actually bring on. Besides the core values, seniors already gain from using independently such systems. It also provides that engagement and being active, having something to do that has a meaning, helping others and maybe feel that success. For advisors, the motivations are actually easing their workload, but also about self-development, succeeding at work. What about earning bonuses as well? For banks, it's about efficiency, reducing costs, and building loyalty. We have had already some real-life impact with this application. The application has been tested in SEB Tartu branch with 8 bank advisors. So we have already planted that little seed that might change the attitude towards supporting autonomy. And also, besides the bank, I have received interest from University of Tartu's digital mentorship program. They also prepare mentors for such activities. And here is a snippet from feedback that I received from the bank. This is a result of constant, intensive iteration. It hasn't come overnight. So it's a lot of work put in there to actually have that AI agent work as it should. About viability, actually, that's another good news. Banks have everything to implement such a system and the program. They have the branches, they have the advisors, they have the self-service computers, and actually they already do that coaching or mentoring. The only problem is that they're still following those old approaches, dictating the steps and not trying to improve that autonomy. Having a broader look on things, we can also see that there are spillover effects. When we change that mentality, we can introduce more inclusion to the society. It's not only about financial goals, it's about having that social influence, having that well-being issue, and it all builds up, and actually we can see that it is not only for those seniors. Coming back to the inclusive design I mentioned earlier, another good news is that the approach can be extended to many, not just bank advisors and not just seniors. Anyone can build their skills to tutor or mentor someone else who feels excluded. And there are people, younger adults, who are also excluded. Not just online banking. The same principles can be applied with minor adjustments to everything online. And to conclude, we can speculate on the future a bit. What if those digital skills are never needed? Actually, the current trends are moving towards that point. Well, of course, then Jutta has its lifespan, but it serves as an important bridge from that human interaction to that human-like interaction part. And no design is ever finished. We were talking about making designs obsolete or having that life expectancy. That all applies to Jutta as well. And finally, we can answer to the research question. Online banking aligns with values important to seniors and offering both long-term well-being and also that immediate peace of mind thereafter. And Jutta is there to equip advisors to support the transition. Jutta is a real application. It's working, it's online. You're all more than welcome to try it out, test it, give your feedback within the app. So I would be very excited to learn about your experience. Thank you very much.